Hey Rachel and Lance, I just wanted to review 3 documents with you. All of these documents pertain to the Digital Storytelling Lab and the Facilitation Design Services. This document here you've already received. I'm thinking the two of you are super busy, which is why I haven't received any feedback yet. So what I did was I just kind of kept plugging along and made some assumptions around some things and just wanted to show you this documentation, explain my thought process, have you review it, and hopefully we could meet. Either you could give feedback via email or the comments feature, or we could meet after Monday's meeting if that works for the two of you. So this you already saw. It's just the notes from the meeting that Rachel and I had. We started to think through the process and what could the questionnaire look like. I realized that when I started to think about it myself, I wanted to take a step back and do more of an end-to-end process and start thinking about what are the what ifs. Because a lot of this is, there's a lot of assumptions that we're making in order to process someone this quickly, and I don't think that's necessarily realistic, especially with Rachel mentioning that, people who reach out or inquire about services aren't always a good fit. So my whole goal was how might we determine who is a good fit and how might we disqualify people as quickly and as efficiently as possible. That's what these 4 phases are. So when identifying leads, there are some things to consider, and that's where these questions would really be helpful if we could address those. The two of you really have that experience since you've been in the trenches working on partnerships, developing relationships. Just because somebody reaches out to us doesn't mean that that person's a lead. That's just an inquiry. So this is about identifying leads. Then we connect with qualified leads. So in order for a lead to transition to a qualified lead, that's basically when we look at the questionnaire and based off the answers and some other things, we determine if they're a good fit. Here's some things to consider. And then exploring the needs, that's where the second questionnaire comes in. So this first questionnaire is the online one. The second one, I'm not sure how we'll do it. I address it in another document, some thoughts around that. And keeping in mind that just because somebody or an organization or a department is a qualified lead in phase 3 doesn't mean that they'll stay as a qualified lead. We could disqualify them based off the answers or concerns that we might have around their answers in the second questionnaire. Advising that's where I really see a in-person face-to-face meeting. Initially when I did this, I wasn't sure when that would take place, as you can see with this question here, but after the next document, you'll see I really try to think through what the process could be, so I think this is a good fit. So that's what this is all about. This second document is really addressing this end-to-end process. So this is all about inquiries. So who could inquire? And just trying to put the pieces together myself, this is who I thought could inquire. And when these people or organizations or folks inquire, how are we going to connect with them? And what's our follow-up process? So that's what this document is about. Identifying leads, I thought about 3 buckets. So you're either just 100% inquiring, maybe you've done some more, so you're getting closer to a potential lead, and bucket 3 is you are now officially lead. It does not mean that everybody who is in these buckets make it to this bucket here. So just to walk you through how this works, bucket 1 is about inquiry, the potential customer. This is what they could do. This would be our response. Bucket 2, this is what they would do. This is our response. Same thing here. So that's how this works. When we connect with qualified leads, basically we receive an online form. This is what the lead receives back. At this point, there are no qualified leads because we haven't reviewed the form. We review the form. This is what leads get back because at this point they may be disqualified. If you are qualified, this is what happens. Leads don't necessarily get an immediate follow-up because they got an email here and either they've been we put them into a parking lot, which means like, hey, good fit, timeline doesn't fit, or budget doesn't fit, or something doesn't fit, so we'll just parking lot you for now. Or this is what happens when you're qualified. Explore, this is where the second questionnaire comes in. So qualified leads, we would connect with them, and we really want to be focusing on budget and solidifying timeline, and we want to know about the decision maker. If you're disqualified, nothing's happening. Our follow-up to this looks like this. If you're disqualified, our follow-up looks like this. And next steps, if you're a qualified lead, this is what the next steps looks like. If you're disqualified, this is what it looks like. Last, so when we advise qualified leads on the best solution, that's when we go and meet with the person or people in person, face-to-face. We are just finalizing some things and also putting out there like, hey, based off of your goals, your budget, your timeline, etc., this is where we think we could be a good fit. Our follow-up would look like this. If you're disqualified, it would look like this. Nobody's a customer yet, so there's nothing. Next steps, if you're a qualified lead, it looks like this. Disqualified, customer. So the next and the last document that I wanted to quickly review are the 2 questionnaires. So I'm imagining that this questionnaire, there would be some sort of form online. I really wanted to think about it in a way where it's like, hey, how much do we actually need to know to start qualifying or disqualifying these leads? Also, what types of questions could we ask to help them start thinking about whether they're actually ready to utilize our services? So that's what this is about. You'll see each of these. There's something about the purpose of why I thought that question should be there. Maybe I gave examples of other options instead of this question, maybe this question. So that's what that's about. Once the folks have gone to the exploration phase, if they make it this far to phase 3, this is the questionnaire that we will utilize. I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm just putting it out there. And it's really, at this point, we need to know numbers. We need to know about the budget. I didn't want to hit them over the head with that initially. It's just, getting some information initially to help us make some decisions. And now it's some real nitty-gritty stuff like decision maker, budget, solidifying timeline, and having folks think through the process a little bit more to see if they really are ready for our services. That's what this is about. So that's all of the information I've got for you. Again, would love for a lot of this to be informed by your thinking on the process and past experience that you've had. It's my understanding that this is a real priority for the Digital Storytelling Lab. I'm thinking the 2 of you have been really busy, but it would be great to flush out these things so that we can start rolling on the business end of facilitating and designing different events for folks. Maybe we can meet after Monday's event. Would be awesome if you started to leave me some feedback, email, or via the comment feature. Hope the 2 of you are having a great weekend, and look forward to connecting with you soon.